There are moments when the heart aches for justice, when the soul burns to be heard, when the mind whispers, fight back, show them who you are. But wisdom, true wisdom, chooses another path. It smiles and stays silent, because silence is not surrender. It is a declaration, a quiet certainty that something far greater is already moving, unseen, unstoppable. You see, when you have been wronged, when you have been betrayed, when the world seems to reward the loud and the cruel, there is a force, ancient and patient, that rises without your command. God says, karma remembers, and while you hold your peace, they hold your justice. Stay silent. God and karma are handling it. The power of silence. There is a kind of strength that never raises its voice, never clenches its fists, and never needs to be seen to be felt. It is the strength of silence, the kind that stands quietly when chaos roars around it. Many mistake silence for weakness because they are too accustomed to measuring power by noise, by fury, by visible resistance. But the truth is, it is far easier to react, far easier to shout and fight and demand immediate justice than it is to remain composed when every fiber of your being longs to speak, to defend, to retaliate. The power of silence lies not in the absence of feeling, but in the mastery of it. It is a discipline, a choice to trust in something higher than the immediate satisfaction of being heard or vindicated. It is to believe that the truth does not require your defense to exist. It stands on its own, towering above the temporary victories of deceit and manipulation. When you choose silence, you are not surrendering. You are ascending. You are stepping beyond the small games of petty minds, refusing to let their chaos infect your peace. Every insult hurled, every betrayal endured, every injustice suffered becomes a test, not of how loudly you can respond, but of how firmly you can remain unmoved. Silence is the armor of the wise, the shield of those who know that some battles are not worth the dignity of their engagement. It is a quiet but thunderous refusal to dance to the tune of those who thrive on provocation. To stay silent is to protect your inner sanctuary from being desecrated by the hands of those unworthy to touch it. People often imagine that if they do not speak, they will be forgotten, or that silence allows lies to grow stronger. But that is a misunderstanding rooted in fear. Lies, by their very nature, are weak. They depend on constant maintenance, repeated performances, and endless noise to stay alive. Truth, on the other hand, is effortless. It needs no constant justification, no defense committee, no campaign to convince the world of its validity. It simply is. And silence is the highest vote of confidence in the power of that truth. It is the recognition that, eventually, time will strip away the illusions, the masks will fall, and what remains will be the undeniable reality that no slander could bury forever. The power of silence is also the power to listen, not to the voices of your enemies, but to the voice within you, the one that is so often drowned out by the clamor of the outside world. In silence, you hear your own strength. In silence, you remember who you are, beyond the distortions projected onto you by others. You are not defined by their lies, by their cruelty, or by their attempts to diminish your spirit. You are defined by the quiet, relentless pulse of your own integrity. And when you stay rooted in that truth, you become immovable. There is a sacredness to silence. It is the space where God speaks most clearly, where karma sets its wheels into motion without your interference. When you stay silent, you step aside and allow the higher forces to do what they are designed to do. You no longer obstruct the flow of justice with your impatience or your need to be seen as right. You trust that the work being done in the unseen realms is far more thorough, far more devastating to injustice than anything you could orchestrate with your own hands. Understand this: silence does not mean you accept mistreatment. It does not mean you condone wrongdoing. It means you rise above it. You choose the battlefield where the fight will be fought, and you choose it on your terms, not theirs. The moment you react in anger, you are playing their game. The moment you retaliate out of wounded pride, you have stepped down to their level. But when you remain silent, you force them to confront themselves. You leave them alone with their choices, their conscience and their consequences. And there is no harsher judge, no more unbearable sentence than facing the truth without the distraction of your anger to shield them. Silence is also a message, louder than any shouted words could ever be. It says, "I am beyond your reach. I am not available for your games. I do not grant you the power to disturb my spirit." It draws a line so clear, so absolute, that it cannot be crossed without revealing the true character of those who would attempt to violate it. In staying silent, you create a mirror that reflects back to others who they truly are, without you saying a single word. And more often than not, that reflection is more damning than anything you could have spoken. So when the temptation rises to defend yourself, to correct the lies, to shout your innocence into a world eager for scandal and slow to seek the truth, remember this: you are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. Every injustice, every cruelty, every betrayal has been seen by eyes greater than yours. Every wound inflicted upon you has been recorded by a hand far mightier than your own, and the justice you seek is already in motion, moving quietly, invisibly, unstoppably toward its appointed hour. Stay silent. The power you hold in doing so is greater than any weapon they could ever forge against you. Invisible hands at work. There is a mystery in the workings of the universe that no human mind can fully grasp. A quiet orchestration unfolding behind every injustice, every betrayal, every heartbreak that you endure. Though it may appear, to the eyes clouded by suffering, that wrongdoers prosper and cruelty goes unpunished, there are forces in motion, invisible yet unstoppable, that weave justice in ways more profound than any earthly hand could arrange. It is easy to believe that when no apology comes, when no consequence is visible, when the guilty seem to live untouched, that you have been forgotten, abandoned to bear the weight of another's sins alone. But this is a shallow reading of the story. In truth, the delay of justice is not its denial. It is the careful crafting of a greater reckoning, one measured not in immediate satisfaction, but in lasting, transformative consequence. God sees what is done in the shadows, and karma, ancient, patient, and precise, moves at a pace that no man can command or comprehend. You may not witness the full extent of the return, because it often unfolds in ways that cannot be traced back to a single cause or moment. It manifests in the slow unraveling of the peace of those who thought they had escaped, in the silent corrosion of their joy, in the relationships they ruin, the opportunities they lose, and the deep, gnawing sense of emptiness that even their greatest triumphs cannot fill. You will not always see the storm that gathers over them, but rest assured, it gathers. You are not required to hold bitterness in your heart, to act as executioner, to demand your own justice, because that burden has already been lifted from you by hands far more capable than your own. There is an extraordinary dignity in stepping back and trusting that unseen forces are balancing the scales, a dignity that does not shout for recognition, but wears its patience like a crown. When you surrender the need to control the outcome, when you let go of the desire to see them suffer in ways you can measure, you free yourself from the chains of their wrongdoing. You step into a greater arena where your soul is refined, strengthened, and elevated, while they remain trapped within the consequences of their own actions. The universe is designed with a memory. It does not lose track of cruelty or kindness, betrayal or loyalty. What is sown is reaped. It is not a matter of if, but of when, and more importantly of how, a process far richer and more intricate than any vengeance you could imagine. The invisible hands at work do not move according to your schedule, and that requires a faith that is not easily maintained in a world obsessed with immediate gratification. Every day you choose to trust in what you cannot see, you strengthen a part of yourself that becomes invulnerable to the noise of injustice. You begin to live in a different rhythm, one that listens not to the surface chaos, but to the deeper currents moving beneath it. You recognize that life itself, when left undisturbed by the smallness of personal revenge, becomes your advocate. It speaks on your behalf, through opportunities that open to you and close to others, through peace that clings to you and eludes those who traded it for short-term gains. Understand this clearly. When you leave it in the hands of God and karma, you are not walking away in defeat. You are making a conscious choice to elevate the matter to a court far higher than any human tribunal. You are placing your pain into the hands of justice itself, and justice, though sometimes slow, is thorough beyond human comprehension. It cuts deeper than any words you could ever say. It corrects more completely than any revenge you could ever plan, and in doing so, it allows you to remain unstained by the darkness that others tried to drag you into. There is a beautiful irony at the heart of all this. Those who wrong you often believe they have escaped, that they have outsmarted consequence, that your silence is an admission of defeat. They cannot see the invisible gathering of the consequences they have set into motion. They cannot feel the slow tightening of the net woven from their own actions. And by the time they realize the depth of what they have called upon themselves, there will be no one left to blame, no one left to fight, no one left to save them from themselves. The damage will not be theatrical, it will be internal, thorough, and irreversible, happening quietly, as silently as the wrongs they once thought hidden. Your task is not to wait anxiously for the signs of their downfall, but to live fully in your own rising. Focus not on the collapse of their false empires, but on the building of your authentic life. Every moment you refuse to be defined by the harm done to you, you are participating in the invisible work of justice. Every time you choose peace over bitterness, purpose over distraction, healing over hatred, you are aligning yourself with the very forces that are balancing the scales on your behalf. So trust the silence, trust the delay, trust the hands you cannot see. They are moving, they are working, they are bringing about a justice so complete, so perfect, that it will leave no question, no lingering doubt about the truth of your story and the final triumph of your spirit. The patience that shames the wicked. There is a quiet, almost unbearable power in patience, a kind of strength that the wicked cannot comprehend and the impulsive cannot imitate. In a world addicted to immediate reaction, where vengeance is glorified and anger is mistaken for strength, patience stands like an ancient tree, unmoved, unshaken, growing deeper and stronger with every passing storm. It is patience that unnerves those who have wronged you, because it denies them the drama they crave. It strips away the satisfaction they seek when they try to provoke you into a reckless response. When you remain patient, you are not merely enduring, you are exposing. Every silent moment you endure in dignity holds up a mirror to those who have done wrong, forcing them to sit alone with the discomfort of their own conscience. They expected rage, they expected collapse, they expected you to lose yourself in the fury of your wounds. But instead, you gave them silence and steadfastness, and in that unexpected stillness, they begin to crumble. The patience that shames the wicked is not born out of weakness or fear. It is born from a profound understanding of how life ultimately corrects itself. It is a patience rooted not in denial, but in certainty. The certainty that time, like a great river, sweeps away all that is false, all that is unjust, all that is built on deceit. When you are patient, you step out of the cycle of retaliation and instead allow the natural forces of truth and justice to perform their slow, undeniable work. Every day, you refuse to lower yourself to the tactics of the cruel. You remind them, and yourself, that you are playing a different game entirely, one that does not depend on their recognition, their approval, or even their downfall for your peace. What the wicked fear most is not your anger, it is your endurance. It is your refusal to be destroyed by them. It is your ability to carry the wounds they inflicted without allowing those wounds to turn you bitter, hollow, or vengeful. There is no greater defeat for them than to see you rise without ever having to swing a single blow. They crafted their schemes thinking they could pull you into the mud with them, but patience is your refusal to get dirty, your decision to stay standing while they sink deeper into their own corruption. And over time, it is not you who is exposed, it is them. It is their lies that fall apart, their alliances that crumble, their reputations that wear thin under the relentless pressure of their own choices. You must understand, the true shame of the wicked comes not from your retaliation, but from their own realization, often too late, that nothing they did could break you. Your patience is a constant reminder that their power over you was an illusion, that the harm they tried to inflict only purified you, only made you stronger, only revealed to you your own unbreakable spirit. And while they live in the frantic noise of their own consequences, you live in the quiet sanctuary of knowing that you did not compromise your character to match their darkness. You waited, not because you were powerless, but because you were wise enough to know that real justice moves in ways far beyond human hands. Patience, when properly understood, is an act of supreme faith. It is the belief that you do not need to see the reckoning with your own eyes for it to be real. It is the decision to prioritize your healing over your need for revenge, to focus on the building of your own life rather than the tearing down of another's. Every moment you choose patience, you grow roots deeper into a peace that cannot be stolen by circumstance or by the actions of others. You become a force that does not waver with the winds of betrayal, a soul so firmly planted in truth that no slander, no deceit, no injustice can uproot you. And the wicked, though they pretend not to notice, feel the weight of that patience. They sense the slow turning of the tide against them. They feel the isolation that comes when their own masks begin to slip, when the same people they once manipulated begin to see through the cracks. They feel the emptiness of victories won by deceit, victories that taste bitter because they know deep down they have forfeited something far more precious than temporary success. They have forfeited their peace, their honor, their souls. And in the quiet spaces between their hollow triumphs, your patience speaks louder than any accusation, louder than any confrontation, louder than any revenge. So do not despair when justice seems delayed. Do not rush to avenge yourself or to prove your righteousness. Let your patience be your testimony. Let your endurance be your answer. Time is not your enemy, it is your ally. It is gathering every word spoken against you, every deed done in secret, every cruelty inflicted without cause, and weaving them into a tapestry of truth that cannot be hidden forever. One day, without you lifting a single finger, the story will unfold as it was always meant to. And when it does, the wicked will not be able to blame you, to accuse you, or to deny the truth they see written in the unfolding of their own lives. Patience is not just a virtue, it is a weapon. It is a quiet, dignified defiance that honors your worth while allowing the universe to do what it has always promised to do: balance the scales, reveal the hidden, and deliver a justice that no human hand could have rendered better. Preserve your soul's integrity. There comes a moment, often in the midst of betrayal, slander, and injustice, when you are given a choice that is heavier than any burden you have ever carried. The choice to protect your soul's integrity at all costs. When wrong is done to you, when your name is dragged through the mud, and your kindness is repaid with cruelty, the temptation to answer evil with evil is almost overwhelming. It is natural to want to fight fire with fire, to believe that if you do not strike back, you are somehow weaker or smaller than those who harmed you. But the truth is that the real battle is not with them, it is within yourself. The real test is whether you can walk through that fire and come out on the other side without allowing the flames to consume who you are. Preserving your soul's integrity means refusing to let their actions redefine you. It means refusing to mirror their cruelty, even when it seems like the fastest path to justice. It is to remember that while they may have harmed you on the surface, only you can allow them to touch the core of who you are. There is a profound sacredness in guarding your integrity, especially when the world seems to reward those who abandon theirs. It is easy to be good when people are good to you. It is easy to be kind when kindness is returned. But the measure of your soul is revealed when goodness is not rewarded, when kindness is met with scorn, when loyalty is met with betrayal. In those moments, when it feels that no one is watching, when there is no applause for your endurance, your true character is being forged in silence. Preserving your soul's integrity requires you to trust that doing the right thing is its own reward, even when the world offers no immediate evidence that it matters. It demands that you rise above the urge for petty victories and choose instead the eternal triumph of maintaining your purity of heart. The world will tell you that integrity is weakness, that kindness is foolish, that forgiveness is naive. The world will seduce you into thinking that in order to survive, you must become like those who hurt you. But if you listen closely, beyond the noise and bitterness, you will hear a quieter, truer voice, reminding you that you were not made to become a reflection of their darkness. You are made to be a light in a world desperate for authenticity, for real strength, for souls that do not bend with every storm. To preserve your soul's integrity is to resist the slow erosion of your spirit by resentment, by rage, by despair. It is to say with every breath that you will not allow the cruelty of others to rewrite the story of who you are. Understand that your integrity is your power. It is what separates you from those who chose the easy path of deception and selfishness. While their victories are loud but short-lived, your strength is silent but eternal. There is a dignity that wraps itself around those who refuse to compromise their values, a dignity that no one can take from you, no matter how fiercely they try. When you protect your soul's integrity, you become untouchable in a way that transcends any earthly defeat or loss. You might lose battles in the eyes of men. You might suffer in ways no one else will ever fully understand, but you will have won where it counts. You will have kept your soul whole, unstained, untarnished by the filth they tried to drag you into. It is not easy. It is a lonely path at times. You will look around and see others who betrayed their own hearts prospering for a season, and you will wonder if you have been foolish to hold on to your principles so tightly. But seasons change. What is sown in betrayal will be reaped in regret. What is built on lies will crumble under its own weight. And when that time comes, you will be standing, not because you fought harder, but because you stood truer. Life has a way of vindicating those who endure with honor, even if that vindication takes longer than you wished. Do not trade the eternal for the temporary. Do not sell your soul's integrity for the small satisfaction of a moment's revenge. Protect it as you would your life, because, in many ways, it is your life. When you choose to preserve your soul's integrity, you are also choosing peace over chaos, healing over hatred, strength over weakness disguised as vengeance. You are refusing to let the actions of others dictate your inner reality. You are choosing to remain sovereign over your spirit, no matter what storms rage outside. And that kind of sovereignty is rare and beautiful, more precious than anything the world can offer. It cannot be bought, it cannot be imitated, it cannot be faked. It is earned moment by moment, choice by choice, in the hidden battles that only you and God see. So when you are tempted to retaliate, when you are tempted to become bitter, when you feel the pull to match their cruelty with your own, stop and remember who you are. Remember the silent strength you are building. Remember that justice is already in motion, and you do not need to corrupt yourself in order to be avenged. Preserve your soul's integrity, even when it costs you. Because at the end of this life, it is not the battles you fought or the enemies you defeated that will matter. It is the soul you kept whole, the heart you kept pure, the dignity you refused to surrender even when the world gave you every reason to do so. Let the fire refine you, not destroy you. Pain is a fire, and when it touches your life, it will either consume you or it will purify you. But the choice is not made by the fire. The choice is made by you. It is tempting when life scorches you with betrayal, loss, or injustice to believe that you have been abandoned, that the burning will only leave ruins behind. But the fire, though fierce, carries within it a hidden gift. If you allow it, the fire can strip away everything that is false, everything that is fragile, everything that is unworthy of who you are meant to become. It does not come to destroy your essence, it comes to reveal it. The moments that feel like endings are often the beginnings in disguise, painful births of a self that is stronger, clearer, and more deeply aligned with your highest truth. You must be willing to endure the discomfort of transformation, to stay present in the heat without giving in to bitterness or despair, because it is precisely in the fire where your future is being forged. When people wrong you, when they try to tarnish your name, to tear down your spirit, to strip you of your peace, they believe they are breaking you, but in reality they are simply fueling the fire that will forge a new, unbreakable version of you. The fire they intended for your destruction becomes the fire of your rebirth. Their betrayal teaches you discernment. Their cruelty teaches you the depth of your own compassion. Their abandonment teaches you that your worth is not dependent on the fickle loyalty of others. Every flame that touches you, every hardship that tests you, is not a signal of your weakness, but a testament to the strength that is being revealed within you. You are not being punished by the fire, you are being prepared by it. Prepared for a life that demands resilience. Prepared for a calling that requires depth. Prepared for a future that could never be carried by the version of you that had not yet walked through this refining flame. But you must be vigilant, because the fire does not guarantee refinement. It only offers the opportunity. You must choose to let it refine you, rather than allow it to make you bitter, angry, or small. It is easy to harden under the heat, to close off your heart, to turn your pain into a weapon against the world. But if you do that, you are not overcoming the fire, you are succumbing to it. True refinement means that you emerge from the flames, softer where it matters and stronger where it counts. It means your heart remains open, your soul remains kind, but your spirit becomes unshakable. It means you carry the lessons without carrying the poison. It means you remember the hurt without living in it. It means you rise, not just in spite of the fire, but because of it. There will be voices around you and inside you, urging you to give up, to grow cold, to believe that the fire has ruined you beyond repair. Resist them. The greatest tragedy would not be the pain you endured. It would be allowing that pain to make you forget who you are. You are not defined by what you have suffered. You are not reduced by the losses you have faced. The fire is not your identity, it is simply a passage, a sacred and terrible bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. Walk through it with courage. Walk through it with the fierce and quiet knowledge that on the other side of the burning, there is a version of you that is more alive, more awake, and more unstoppable than ever before. And know this, the people who tried to set fire to your life will be forced to watch the beauty that rises from the ashes. They will see that their betrayal did not break you, it refined you. They will witness the greatness that could only be birthed through the very trials they thought would destroy you. And that, more than any words you could ever speak, will be the most powerful testimony of all. Not revenge, not bitterness, but your transformation, your thriving in the face of all they did, will be the loudest answer to their cruelty. Let the fire teach you, but do not let it define you. Let it carve away the illusions, the dependencies, the fears that once held you back. Let it reveal to you the strength you never knew you had, the faith that cannot be shaken, the purpose that cannot be stolen. Let it purify your vision so that you no longer waste your energy trying to change small-minded people or prove your worth to those too blind to see it. Let it teach you to walk lighter, freer, more committed to your own peace than to the chaos others try to bring into your life. The fire is not your enemy. It is a harsh but faithful friend, burning away what was never meant to stay and leaving behind a soul that is sharp, clear, and invincible. You are not being destroyed. You are being revealed. You are not being diminished. You are being refined. Trust the process. Trust the pain. Trust that even in your most broken moments, something magnificent is being born in you. Something that all the fires in the world cannot destroy.